Here we go, 8.5. First thing I want you to recall is just regular fractions. So I apologize, I was a little bit lazy and I didn't write these in my math type, but this is 4/3. Let's even be more careful. 4/3 plus 7/3. All right, if you remember way back to adding fractions, when we had fractions, we needed to have a common denominator to add the fractions.
Correct.
Once I had a common denominator, I just added the numerators, added straight across. So this ended up being 11/3. If I have 5/12 plus 7/3,
you don't have a common denominator.
I don't have a common denominator, so I need to get a common denominator. The question is, how do I do that? Well, it looks like 12 is my common denominator, and I'll have to multiply 7/3 by 4/4, right? But before we do that, I want to write this as 5 divided by 3 times 4. Do you agree that 3 times 4 is the same as 12?
I agree.
Notice that I have a whoa. I have a 3 right here, and I also have a 3 right here. Do you agree? Yeah. What am I missing from the second fraction then?
A 4.
A 4, right? So I need to have a 4 over here, but if whatever I do to the bottom, I need to do also to the top. So okay.
I don't agree with this.
All right, so let's simplify everything here. Then I've got 5 plus, what is 7 times 4?
21.
28.
Plus
divided by 3 times 4 is 12. Alright, so this simplifies to 33/12, and then I can go even further. If I took a 3 out of the top and the bottom, this will actually be 11/4. Okay, any questions on simplifying or adding fractions that have no x's and y's, that are just numbers?
I have a question.
So I would write down these steps. I would maybe put a box around them or highlight them or something. These are the steps for the rest of the example. Well, most of the rest of the examples. Okay. The first step is to factor the denominators. We've got to factor the denominators completely, just like we did with 12. Second step, make the denominators match. So you have a common denominator. Remember, when you multiply something by the bottom, you have to multiply the top by the same thing, and then combine the fractions together, multiply out the numerator, and then simplify. Okay, so these are the 6 steps that you want to follow. I'll give you a second to copy those down. Number 1, I don't have to factor. They're already the same, so I think I can just add straight across. So this is going to be 3x plus 7 divided by 5x squared. Once again, I go through and I say, can I factor the denominators here? I can't. It's already x plus 6. Both of them are the same, so I don't need to worry about 2. I can just, I don't need to worry about 3 either. I can just go right to number 4, combine the fractions. So this is going to be 3x. Now it's minus 7 divided by x plus 6. Okay, and that's it. This one, everything is completely factored. So step 1 is good. Step 2, I've got to make the denominators match. On the right, I have an x plus 6 times x, and on the left I have just an x plus 6. So I need an x over here on the left. Whatever I do to the bottom, I have to do to the top. Alright, so this is, I would put that x plus 6 in parentheses. Alright, and then when you multiply these out, you have a common denominator. You have the same denominator. So what this ends up becoming is 3x times x is
3x squared.
3x squared. And then minus 7x plus 2
over
divided by just x times x plus 6, because that denominator is the same. Out and simplify it. 3x squared, this is going to be 3x squared minus 7x minus 2 divided by x times x plus 6. Okay.
Makes sense.
And then what we should do is factor the numerator if we can. I don't think that it factors. And even if it does, I don't care because it's not going to factor.
It does factor.
You're right. Yeah, I think you're right. It does factor. But I don't think it matters because it's not going to cancel anything out. So, did I? Oh, yeah, but I distributed the negative. So the negative to the negative 7 right here, and then the negative also has to go to the 2, so it makes it a negative 2. All right, well, it looks like the denominator is already factored. X minus 6, x plus 4, I can't factor it. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put parentheses around those just so I know that I'm going to treat those as kind of one entity, all by themselves. So x minus 6 is one thing, x plus 4 is another thing. Okay. Now, I need to find the common denominator. All right, well, I've got an x minus 6 on the left. I need an x plus 4. So I'm just going to put in an x plus 4. But remember, whatever I do to the bottom, I have to do to the top. All right. On the right, I don't have an x minus 6, so I better put an x minus 6 over there.
That's a simple way to do it.
Okay? So I end up with that mess. And what's nice about this is now I have a common denominator. When I combine these fractions, I end up with, all right, on the left, I've got 2 times x plus 4. I've got one denominator. It's the same thing for both, so it's just x plus 4, x minus 6. And then I've got plus 3 times x minus 6.
Okay.
This is going to be 2x plus 8 plus 3x minus 18, all divided by x plus 4 times x minus 6.
True that.
That is true. 5x and then minus 10, I think, right? Yeah. Minus 10
True.
divided by the denominator, which is the same, and I'm going to have to write underneath the watermark. I'm sorry. It is going to be x plus 4 times x minus 6.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I know, it's bad.
Problem with the watermark.
I know. So you should all just take up a fund and make a donation. X plus 4 of x minus 6. And then I think that's as simple as I can get. I do that. The one on the right, the fraction on the right is already factored. I'm not worried about that one. The one on the left is going to be negative 3 over x minus 6 times x plus 6.
Right.
Plus 4 over x plus 6.
You need a
I
negative.
need to have an x minus 6 on the top and the bottom. So x minus 6, whoa. Imagine that there's a parenthesis around that. X minus 6 divided by x minus 6. And it becomes negative 3 plus 4 times x minus 6 divided by the common denominator, which was x minus 6 times x plus 6. When I simplify this, negative 3 plus 4x minus 24 divided by, oh, here I go again, x minus 6, x plus 6. And then you can just simplify the top to be, let's see, what? Negative 3 minus, is it negative 27?
Yep.
Okay, so negative 27. So I factored the denominators, and I got 9x squared and then 3x times x plus 1. But I notice immediately that over here in the left-hand fraction, I need an x plus 1, because I don't have an x plus 1. So I'm going to multiply this by x plus 1 divided by x plus 1. I see that right away, that this denominator over here does not have an x plus 1.
Right.
Over on the right, I've got a 3x, but what I really want is a 9x squared. So the question is, what do I multiply the right-hand side by to give me a 9x squared? Yeah, so I need to multiply by 3x. So I multiply by 3x over 3x. All right, and now we can simplify. This gives me 7 times x plus 1 on top, plus x times 3x is just 3x squared. Divided by, let's see, our common denominator ended up being 9x squared times x plus 1.
X plus 1's can. 7x
7
plus 7.
plus 7 plus 3x squared divided by 9x squared times x plus 1.
Cancel.
Your chin straps, hang on. Back to the denominator in the first one, I'll have an x plus 2 on top, don't touch the numerator, and a 2 times an x minus 1 on the bottom. Minus, leave the numerator in the second one alone, negative 2x minus 1, divided by, Factor the bottom. All right, I think this is going to factor into x minus 3, x minus 1. I notice that the right-hand fraction, or the right side fraction, needs a 2. So I'm going to multiply by 2 over 2. I notice that the fraction on the left needs an x minus 3. So I better multiply that thing by x minus 3 over x minus 3. All right. I'm going to put these numerators in parentheses just to be careful here.
Thank you.
As on top, I've got x minus 3 times x plus 2 divided by 2 times x minus 1 times x minus 3. That was our common denominator. Oh my goodness. And then I have to subtract 2 times negative 2x minus 1. Wow. I'm going to factor the first thing. Alright, so factor this 4x squared minus 6. Scratch work. 4x squared minus 16. That's the same as 4 times x squared minus 4. Do you agree? X squared minus 4. And then that is the same as 4 times x minus 2 times x plus 2. Let's simplify that one out. Alright, or factor that. So 6x squared minus... you know what? Can we factor 2 out?
Yeah.
Alright, so this would be 2 times 3x squared minus 12x
Minus 1.
plus 1. This is and 2 times 3x squared minus 12x plus 1. Alright, so those are my the two things that I'm given. And I want to know what the lowest common multiple between them is. And here's what it is. I approach these just as if they were denominators. So my LCM is going to be, alright, well, I look at each term. I notice that over here in the left, I have a 4, I have an x minus 2, and an x plus 2.
Right.
Do I have any of those over here in the right term there?
You don't.
No. Okay, so I know that I need to have a 4, an x minus 2, and an x plus 2 in my lowest common multiple. Now, I go over to the second term there. I have a 2. But I don't think I need to rewrite the 2 because I've already got that built into the 4, right? Isn't 4 2 times 2?
Yeah.
So I don't need to have another 2 there. I already kind of used it up in the 4. So the 2's good. I've got that covered. How about the 3x squared minus 12x plus 1? Do I have that yet?
You don't have that.
No, so that's got to go in there.
Oh, that's
And then I'm done. All right. So this is my lowest common multiple right here.
You weren't kidding when you said
Go for it. Try these.